Justice with Judge Mablean will be life because in everything we do, it involves the law. Where's your witness?
In the evidence.
That's hearsay.
It's notarized.
I still say it's hearsay.
She's fair.
You're going to help these young men learn how to do this the right way.
Yes, Your Honor.
She's firm.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
No, I don't need to say anything else.
She's honest.
I'm not your child and I'm not your friend. That's the order of the court. Goodbye.
This is Justice with Judge Mablean.
All rise. Both parties, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Court is now in session with the Honorable Judge Mablean presiding.
Thank you. You may be seated. In the matter of Waylon Peters versus Jill Zebart, Mr. Peters is suing you for $5,000. You are the parents of a child, and you want the money that the child earned to be given to you.
Yes.
Instead of the mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so tell me about it.
Absolutely. So the reason why I want the money that is meant to be given to me to put directly into my daughter's savings account, because essentially my ex entered Star, our beautiful Star, into a beauty pageant without...
Oh, that's interesting. The star is a star, huh?
Mm-hmm, Star is a star. And she entered her in a beauty pageant without any type of consultation. That's fine.
Any type of consultation with whom?
With me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, we're supposed to be co-parents. And
supposed to be?
Supposed to be.
Are you divorced, married, single? Did you ever marry?
We never married. We separated a year after Star was born because we just realized we had very different parenting styles and parenting outlooks for Star's future.
And how old is Star now?
Star is 6 years old.
All right, go on.
And so she entered Star into this pageant. Star won. And rather than Star keeping that money and utilizing it inside of her savings account, she decided to use it for her makeup business or her makeup artist business and purchase makeup, as well as take a trip to Cancun. I don't know a 6-year-old that decides to go to Cancun on their own. And so ideally, I would love the money to be given to me so I can put it into her savings account that I opened on the day that she was born.
All right, tell me, how did Star get entered into this beauty pageant?
I entered her, Your Honor.
What is the arrangement you and her father have in terms of her custody and care?
I thought we had an agreement that I would have her during the week. I have her Monday through Saturday in the mornings. I take care of her. I put her to bed at night. I prepare her lunches. I escort her to school, and then I go to my business.
And what's your business?
I'm a makeup artist. I'm a professional makeup artist. I do a lot of weddings. I work on weekends. So he has Star the entire weekend, and he spends quality time with her, uninterrupted by school or other obligations. And he's trying to make it look like I just on a whim entered her just so I could get the money.
Well, that's why I asked you, how did it come about that she was entered into a beauty contest? You entered her, that's why I didn't let him tell me that. Correct. I'm asking you, how did that happen?
So I entered her at her request. She knew a bunch of kids in her class who were doing this beauty pageant. It's just a local thing. It's a bit of fun. They dress up.
What is it called?
It's called Six and Sassy.
Six and Sassy?
Six and Sassy, yes, because she's 6 and sassy, and she is a star. She's born to be in front of people, to be on the stage, to be a performer. I think she has big dreams of doing that one day. And I was just
Or at least mother has big dreams of her doing it.
Your Honor, she has young...
You know, let me tell you this, Ms. Zebert. It's okay for you to have that as a dream for your daughter, and it's okay for you to say that that's my dream for my daughter. And I think that she has those qualities, and I think she will be a star one day. That's okay for you to admit that. Don't try to hide it. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
I appreciate you saying that, Your Honor. I really do. Sometimes I feel like anything that isn't in the realm of academia, he doesn't understand. He's a professor.
Most parents have dreams for their children. But all I want you to say and admit is that's your dream right now.
It is my dream for her. It is. Because I had such a good experience in these pageants when I grew up doing
you were in them?
I did, yes, I did. And I think she enjoys it. She told me afterward that she had such a good time. She made a lot of new friends, girls her own age, doing the same thing.
Was Daddy invited to the pageant?
No.
Was he told about it?
No.
Why not?
I knew he wouldn't approve. He never approves of
but
anything
I mean, you'd
like
already
that.
put her in it. I didn't say was he told that you were putting her in it. I got that you weren't going to tell him that part. But once she's in it, once the competition is about to happen, did you tell Daddy when it was, where it was, and that your child was in the competition?
No.
When did you tell him that she had won?
I told him after he saw a post about it on Instagram.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Mablean.
Was waiting for the right time.
What's the right time? Tell me what you envision as the right time to tell a man that you know wouldn't approve. When was going to be the right time? Never.
I want it.
Never.
Well.
And later.
And this is the condition the blanket was in.
That don't tell me the condition. It's just in a bag.
I know, but it's so dirty I can't take it out of the bag.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Waylon Peters, who is suing Jill Zebart for pageant winnings.
So you're going to post it on Instagram and not tell her Daddy?
I was waiting for the right time.
What's the right time? Tell me what you envision as the right time to tell a man that you know wouldn't approve. When was going to be the right time? Never.
I want it.
Never.
Well,
never. Who do you think you're talking
to?
You weren't going to tell him. You was going to let him find out. That's why you posted it. Because the right time to tell him would have been when you got ready to enter her. That would be the right time. Right?
Well, to be honest, Your Honor, I didn't think he had a right to say anything. It was my time that I spent with her. I don't tell him how he spends his time with her. He does a lot of things that she doesn't enjoy doing.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop both of you there. You don't have the right not to tell him, and he does have a right to know. And that goes both ways. And you should be adult enough to have a discussion about it and to talk about it. Obviously, you're not going to agree on what she can and cannot do. At some point, I hope you will get to be adult enough to have that understanding of what activities she will participate in and what activities she won't participate in. So you're on a different page in that regard. But Mr. Peters, knowing that she is into makeup and she's a makeup artist, and she's a creative person, and she's an artistic person. Why are you surprised that she's not gearing this child toward those type of artistic activities?
Sure, maybe if there were appropriate artistic activities.
Why isn't this appropriate in your opinion?
Well, you know what, Your Honor, I have some evidence here.
Okay.
If I may present it to you. And you can see the post. And I don't know if you'd want to see your 6-year-old granddaughter.
You know, I'm so old-fashioned, I probably wouldn't want to do any of this, so don't even ask me, okay? Right. And it's not about what I would want. It's about what the two of you would want for your child. And at some point, you have got to forget about yourselves, what you want and what you want, but what is in the best interest, let me hear you say that phrase, best interest of Star. That should be the only consideration.
Well, I think it's in the best interest of my daughter to not be paraded around in an Instagram post like that. I didn't like seeing her wearing spaghetti straps, you know, showing her shoulder, so done up. She's only 6 years old. When I take her on the weekend, we go to playgrounds, we go to museums. She told me once she wants to be a judge.
Okay, so you balance it. You take her to playgrounds and museums, she lets her have fun and dress up. Get with it, Mr. Peters. Little girls like to dress up. This is not over dramatic in terms of a 6-year-old. It's a little girl's outfit with spaghetti straps that come off the shoulder. That's not overly dramatic.
Your Honor,
but I don't see anything wrong with the activity, but that's not for me to decide. But your complaint is she won the money, $5,000.
Correct.
And you used the money for yourself and her, you said. How did you use it?
Not quite, Your Honor. I do have evidence of my own. So I have receipts of how I spent the money, exactly where. Okay. The majority of it went to a trip that Star and I took to Cancun, Mexico. The rest of it went to updating my makeup kit, which, as I said, is part of my business. I personally did her makeup for the pageant. I think it was okay that I spent a little bit of that money that she won on updating my professional business kit.
I'm going to tell you that it wasn't. If you're putting her in these pageants and she's earning money, it's her money. And under the law, when a child earns money in work like that, like children that are in the industry, entertainers, doing commercials and things like that, you're supposed to put that money in a guardianship account, set aside just for her, only to be spent when you go into the court to request money to be spent only for the child's benefit.
Okay.
Not yours at all.
Understood.
So you took her on a trip. And certainly she couldn't go by herself.
Correct.
And you have to admit, you wanted to go to Cancun. Exactly. And so you took her with you. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I wanted to go with her. I wanted to make a memory with her.
Then when you want to go with her, you have to go with her when you can afford to take her on your money or with permission from the court to use her money. So this money, you have an account set up for her?
I have an account set up for her since day one.
But it's in your name and hers, I was told.
It's a joint account, yes.
Yeah.
But it's for her.
But but it's not a blocked account.
It's not a blocked account, but there's only been deposits in that account.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do.
Year to date.
You're going to take that account that only has deposits in it, and you're going to turn it into a blocked account. And all you have to do is go to the bank and say, we want this account. I want this account to be a blocked account for the benefit of Star, what last name does she use?
Peters.
Yes,
for Star Peters, and the bank will do that for you, and both of you are signatures, and it requires both of you to sign on it at the same time, or nothing comes out of it. But it really should just be a blocked account that only the court gives you permission to get the money out of it. That's the order of the court judgment for the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff has been ordered to open a blocked account for his daughter.
You should have deposited that money directly into the account from the get-go.
Look, I didn't know any of this about a blocked account.
Coming up.
It was in a box.
It was in a box?
Yep.
Okay.
When he gave it to me, I never opened the box.
You kept it in the box?
Yep. I don't know how it got like that. I never seen it.
Well, you don't even know what it looked like if you didn't open it.
Exactly.
You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean.
In the matter of Lacey Jenkins versus Evelyn Turner, you're suing Ms. Jenkins. No, Ms. Jenkins is suing Ms. Turner for $401.74 for a new blanket. She thinks that the defendant returned her blanket from the church ruined. All right, Ms. Jenkins, let me hear from you.
Good afternoon, Judge. I'm Lacey Jenkins from Temple Hills, Maryland, and I've been attending this church with Sister Evelyn for the last 20 years.
Ooh.
I have my front seat in the front pew where I sit every Sunday, and recently we had our air conditioning improved, and it's really, really strong where I sit. So my daughter gave me this wonderful blanket to wrap around me at church to keep me from getting a little too cold. Beautiful blanket, very plush, an exclusive design, just a beautiful blanket.
To take to church and use when you go to church?
Yes, ma'am. It was just that beautiful, and it kept me nice and warm.
Okay.
So
it was really that cold in there?
Well, I'm anemic.
Oh, okay.
And my hands are always cold, my feet are always cold, just on a normal basis.
Okay. Now what happened?
I had the blanket at church, and we went to the fellowship hall, we had lunch, and I got an emergency phone call, and I jumped up to respond to the emergency phone call and forgot my blanket and left it there in the fellowship hall.
Okay.
The deacon found my blanket a couple days later and asked Sister Evelyn would she drop by to me, since we live not too far from each other.
All
so
right.
she brought the blanket, and we're standing at my door chitting and chatting a little bit, and I told her thank you, for running it by. I appreciated her doing that. And I went inside and looked at the blanket, and this is the condition the blanket was in.
That tell me the condition, it's just in a bag.
I know, but it's so dirty I can't take it out of the bag.
Coming up.
So you're at church at another event,
Yes.
and the deacon saw you
Yes.
and said, Sister Jenkins left her blanket, will you take it to her?
Yes.
And you agreed.
You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Lacey Jenkins, who is suing Evelyn Turner for property damage.
What type of blanket was it?
It's a cashmere blanket, Judge.
What color?
Red.
That looks like a two-tone blanket right there.
Well, that's how dirty it is, Judge.
What you have to say, Miss Turner?
I don't know what happened between the time I dropped it off and whatever she did, but I know one thing. I never touched that blanket.
You received the blanket from the deacon?
That is correct. I got it from the deacon at the church.
Well,
it was in a box.
It was in a box?
Yep.
Okay.
When he gave it to me, I never opened the box.
You kept it in the box?
Yep. You know, I don't know how it got like that. I never seen it.
Well, you don't even know what it looked like if you didn't open
Exactly.
it. Right? So you don't know what color it was if you didn't open it?
I don't know anything about that blanket at all.
So when you had the blanket at church and left it, was it in a box?
No, ma'am. I had it wrapped around me.
So it wasn't in a box?
No, it was
So
just...
you left it on the seat as far as you recall?
Yes, ma'am.
So if it got into a box, somebody else put it in a box?
Yes.
You don't know who put it in the box?
No, I don't.
You spoke to the deacon. Did you ever speak to the deacon that said that he had found your blanket? Or you called the church and told him you left it?
No, I had no communication with the church.
So so everybody knows your blanket. So when they saw it, they knew that belonged to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then the deacon called you. Why did the deacon just bring it to you himself? Did he say?
No, he just said he was going to have her to drop it off because she lived so close to me.
I thought you said you didn't talk to the deacon.
No, but that's what she told me. Deacon asked her to bring it because she lived so close.
So you're at church at another event.
Yes.
And the deacon saw you.
Yes.
And said, Sister Jenkins left her blanket. Will you take it to her?
Yes.
And you agreed?
Yes.
And it was in a box?
It was in a box.
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean.
I don't want to belabor the point. I think our society has become a little too litigious. You all are church mates. You know each other well. And you are an adult. You should have talked to the deacon who found the blanket first and said, Deacon, look here. This blanket doesn't look like my blanket. And get an explanation from him. But instead, the Good Samaritan, who's just the third party trying to deliver something, gets blamed. And you bring her to court.
Yes. Well, because she had custody of the blanket at the last moment.
At the last moment, but who had custody at the beginning?
The deacon.
And you never bothered to ask him anything?
No, ma'am.
I think it's because it's just easier to sue a woman. You know?
Yes.
She was doing you a favor because you forgot your blanket. You ought to say thank you.
I did when she dropped it off.
Okay.
I told her I appreciate it.
I'm not going to. Judgment for the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
No justice, no peace.
Well, you know what? God don't like ugly. Not at all. You know, and he doesn't like a lying tongue either.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.